Welcome to Explore the Quran channel. Have you ever thought that the narrative most religions bring forward regarding creation of human does not align well with the modern scientific understanding, and thus creates lots of unanswered questions for the young, curious generation? Out of respect for all religions out there, we are not going to criticize the narrative of any religion on this matter. But the viewer can study this topic for themselves and draw conclusions. While science has proved that our ancestors have lived on Earth for millions of years, and specifically, the Homo sapiens have been around for at least 300,000 years. The story of creation of humans in all religions, but Islam, dates back to at most few thousand years. Here, we narrate you the Quranic version of creation of human. Listen to it and let us know what you think of it. It all starts with Allah wanting to create a successor with willpower somewhere in the universe. Indeed, we offered the trust to the heavens and the earth and the mountains, and all in between. And they declined to bear it and feared it, but man undertook to bear it. Indeed, he was unjust to himself and ignorant of the end. The trust mentioned in this verse was being a successor to Allah, which meant possessing willpower and knowledge, while being accountable for wrongdoing. As we learn from this verse, the mankind assumed the trust. However, at the time of this verse, our ancestors were already roaming on earth. Thus, Allah's successor was going to be placed on earth. And mention, O Muhammad, when your Lord said to the angels, "Indeed, I will make upon the earth a successive authority." They said, "Will you place upon it one who causes corruption therein and sheds blood, while we glorify you with praises and sanctify you?" Allah said, "Surely I know what you do not know." There are a couple of important matters here that we cannot move on before we discuss them. The first one is the knowledge of the angels from corruption and bloodshed a successor would cause. Per Quranic verses that we will discuss in a future video, the angels are created from light and do not possess willpower, and consequently, they will not cause any corruption. Their knowledge is also limited to what Allah has granted them. Thus, the knowledge angels had of corruption and bloodshed a successor with willpower would cause was likely coming from their observation of the jinn. A successor made by Allah somewhere other than the earth in the universe. We think so because, from the verse we just saw, Allah was not creating a second successor on earth, but rather a successor on earth. If you know Quran, you know it is very specific about such details. There are so much to be discussed about jinn, but for now, bear it in mind that the jinn were created before humans. And we did certainly create man out of clay from dried black mud. And the jinn, we created aforetime from scorching fire. Also, Quran teaches us that like humans, some jinn will go to heaven and some will go to hell. If interested on this matter, refer to chapter 6, verse 130 of the Holy Quran. The second important matter is that per His divine knowledge, Allah knew someone from that audience was going to disobey Him. That was what Allah referred to as something He knew, and the others did not. We will see more on this later in the video. Once Allah created and proportioned the man from clay like that of pottery, He breathed into the man from His soul. We also learn from the Quran that Allah created the man in the best shape. He created Adam from clay like that of pottery. Chapter 55, verse 14. We have certainly created man in the best of stature or form. Chapter 95, verse 4. And when I have proportioned him and breathed into him of my soul, so fall down to him in prostration. Chapter 15, verse 29. Once the first man with willpower and intelligence was created, whom we refer to as Adam, Allah asks the angels to prostrate to him. All prostrate but one. When we told the angels, bow down before Adam, they all bowed. But not Iblis, who refused and was arrogant. He was one of the disobedient, chapter 2, verse 34. Very important to mention here that Iblis was originally from the jinn and not an angel, but held a high rank and was in the heavenly assembly due to his worship or closeness to God. So, although not an angel, he was included in the command directed to the angels, likely as part of their group. Quran teaches us that a righteous, God-fearing soul can surpass the level of angels in closeness to God. And Iblis is a practical example of this. And mention, O Muhammad, when we said to the angels, bow down to Adam, and they bowed, except for Iblis. He was one of the jinn, and he departed from the command of his Lord. Chapter 18, verse 50. Back to the story of creation of Adam. Allah commanded, then get out of here, i.e. paradise, for you are truly expelled. And surely upon you is my condemnation until the day of judgment. Iblis appealed, my Lord. Then delay my end until the day of their resurrection. Note that Satan was aware of the day of resurrection, since such promise was similarly made to the jinn before creation of humans. Allah said, you have been given respite until the appointed day. Satan said, by your glory, I will certainly mislead them all, except your faithful obedient servants among them. I will approach them from their front, their back, their right, their left, and then you will find most of them ungrateful. Allah concluded, the truth is, and I only say the truth, I will surely fill up hell with you, and whoever follows you from among them altogether. One may ask, why did God agree to grant Satan with respite? The answer may have two main elements to it. Number one is, Allah gave humans free will, and to truly test that, humans must have both guidance and temptation. Satan is the tempting devil to test us. The second element has something to do with these Quranic verses. So whoever does any good act even to the weight of a particle will see it. Chapter 99, verse 7. Never will I, Allah, allow to be lost the efforts of any of you, be they male or female. Chapter 2, verse 195. Considering all the right things Iblis had done as a free-willed jinn to reach the level of angels, and the fact that Allah swears Iblis will end up in hell, the respite given to Iblis was in exchange for all the right things he had once done. By the way, we learn from this discussion that even the wrong-doing disbelievers who will end up in hell will be rewarded for the good acts they commit throughout their lives. However, their reward will be handed to them in this world, which explains why the disbelievers generally live in better shape. Listen to verses 196 and 197 from chapter 3 of Quran, which elaborate more on this. Do not let the prosperity of the disbelievers throughout the land deceive you. It is only a brief enjoyment. Then hell will be their home. What an evil resting place. Back to story of creation of Adam and Eve. After Adam, his wife, Eve, was created. People, be mindful of your Lord, who created you from a single soul, and from it created its mate. And from the pair of them spread countless men and women far and wide. Be mindful of Allah, in whose name you make requests of one another. Beware of severing the ties of kinship. Allah is always watching over you. Chapter 4, verse 1. Here, we end part 1 of Story of Creation of the Mankind. In Chapter 2, you will see where Adam and Eve reside after their creation, how Satan deceives them, and so on. We will also talk more about the jinn and the facts which make us believe that the jinn might be the aliens that have been spotted by multiple resources when visiting the Earth. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. We would love to hear your thoughts about this video.